Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome and let's get ready, baby. Let's get ready to set these drivers loose. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, we're in for another wicked race. We're in for another wild evening of racing action as these drivers get loaded into the sim. Each and every one of them is looking for the win here this evening as it is the Throttle Down Motorsports Enduro Series live from Lincoln Speedway. We are in for a treat. We are in for one heck of a race here today in this one as these drivers are going to get ready to duke it out. It's going to be a lot of elbows up, racing, gripping that wheel very, very tight. Four wide start here, zero caution flags, no cautions, all action in 125 laps of racing action. This is what it's all about right here. This is where things get very crazy here for each and every one of these drivers, as this is going to make things absolutely wild here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to set these drivers loose. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we get ready to take these drivers to green flag racing here in just a few more moments as qualifying underway right now. These drivers out on the racetrack, they're putting in the work. They're trying to get their, their feet underneath them, trying to get their toes a little wet. They're in the mud, trying to figure out their best way to get around this racetrack, how they can put the best lap time down, and where they can put themselves in a good position to try to park themselves up towards the front of the field here in this crazy four-wide start. Yo, Joycelyn Belch coming in, showing the love with the heart reaction. How are you, Joycelyn? Joycelyn says, let's go, racing family. Yes, ma'am, you know it, Joycelyn. Mr. Glenn coming in, showing the love as well. How are you, Matthew? Mr. Glenn coming in, showing the love. How are you, my dude? How's things? How are you? Cairo Race Designs coming in with that share and the heart reaction as well. Cairo coming in, showing the big love here in this one. I appreciate you coming in with that like and the share on the broadcast. We're going to get ready to rock and roll. We're going to get ready to set these drivers loose here in just a few more moments. Our green flag is about to get underway here, our one and only green flag of the day, as there are zero caution flags. There's going to be no caution flags. Each and every one of these drivers are going to be duking it out on the racetrack. 125 laps of action. They're going to be absolutely tuckered out in this one, I can tell you that much. Lincoln is a very, very slick track. Once it gets worked in, it becomes very, very slick, and things are going to get very, very tight around this place for each and every one of these drivers, trying to figure out a lane, trying to figure out a way to get around not only the track, but all the other competitors out there as well. And then we have the big question: when and if the tires are going to start to fall off. We have seen lots of races where those right rears and the right fronts really start to fade away. Drivers having tire failures, having to come down pit side, having to get those tires changed. When's that going to happen? How quickly is that fall off going to happen? Is it going to happen quick enough where drivers can come down and use the fresh tires to their advantage to roll back towards the front of the field and maybe pick up a win? There's a lot of different strategy, a lot of different plays that these drivers can try to do today. We're going to probably see a lot of it here. A lot of these drivers either going, balls to the wall, or a lot of drivers trying to play conservative and trying to keep their tires underneath them, trying to keep these cars straight and pointing in the right direction and not having those tire failures. Woo! Chat, this could be fun. This is going to be a good time. We are in for a treat, as I was saying. 125 laps of racing action. Who thought of this one? Who thought of that? 125 laps of action here for these drivers. That is a very, very long time to duke it out there on the racetrack. That's a lot of laps. That's a lot of time behind the wheel. These guys are going to be absolutely busting their butts out there on the racetrack. So if you haven't already, make sure you say thank you to each and every one of these drivers. Make sure you cheer them on up in the chat if you're watching them. Let them know you're watching. Let them know you're cheering them on out there on the track, as they want to see it. They come back here, they rewatch these, they see who's commenting and everything else, and I'm sure they want to see their fans in the stands supporting them as they get ready for a very long venture here again this evening with the Throttle Down Motorsports Enduro Series. Woo! Oh! Chris Peters out there on the track, the 23 TNT Sim Wrap Market number 823 ride, that Makoni setup shop ride, looking for a good run here as Chris Peters, one of those drivers towards the front of the field here in the standings. If not, he could be pretty close to the front of the standings here. Let me double check. Tyler Jackson with the points lead coming into the evening. Dustin Batten in second, Chris Peters in that third spot here in the point standings. William Hargraves, Dakota Proud rounding out our top five as Dakota Proud was able to pick up the win and park his ride up in victory lane last week as the 19 ride rolling back out onto the racetrack. He's looking to go back-to-back here this evening as 19 ride looking very, very strong out there on the track. Evan Stefanski looking for a good run. Steven Stefanski muscles back there in position number 10. Steven coming in with that like on the stream. I appreciate you, Steven. Mr. Stefanski coming in, smashing that like on the stream, coming in, showing the love here in this one as see Jackie Whaley out there on the racetrack. The 720 ride looks like he's going to try to get his car down and off the racetrack. We see Ricky Thompson out there as well in the 224 ride. Aaron Martin, the M29 machine, out there currently in the 15th position here. So it looks like 22 drivers ready to rock and roll here for our A-Main feature event as qualifying coming to a close. Johnny Nolan, Pacer Pompin, my boy Chris Peters all coming in with the reactions on the stream. Jake Stefanski coming in with that heart reaction and the share as well. And how are you, Jake? Jake's going to be starting here in position number 2 with quick time. Here in qualifying belongs to the 822 Tyler Jackson. With the quick time here in this one, he says, let's go, my boy. What's good, T-Jack? What's good, my boy? T-Jack up in the house here as well, ready to rock and roll from that pole position, and he's ready to try to pick up another one of these wins, another one of these races here, where he's trying to put that car, the 822 ride, in victory lane as, man, this is going to get wild. It's going to take us a couple minutes here. These drivers are going to try to get lined up. They're going to try to get ready here for this A-Main feature event. So these drivers are going to be going 4 wide here on the start. So we're going to try to get these drivers all stacked up and racked up and in the right positions here for the start of this feature event as 4 wide starts here in the series. So that's going to make things very interesting. It's very tough to do. It's very hard to get everyone on the same page, but these guys have been doing a great job at it, and they've been able to keep on putting themselves in the right position as T-Jack, Tyler Jackson, our pole sitter out there onto the racetrack getting ready to rock and roll. As there you go, you see the Shark Bite number 822 ride, the Black Diamond Mafia with Julius A Speed Shop machine rolling down there in position number 1. The Throttle Down Motorsports 32 ride of Jacob Stefanski going to start there in second with Lon France, the DWR JRE iRacing iFlag ride there in third, and Brandon Kolb going to be starting down on the inside. That's going to be our 5th place driver, as it's actually the 34D Dustin Batten who will be starting on the outside here in position number 4. William Hargraves is going to be starting in that 5th position. He's going to have the 23 ride in the 19 of Dakota Proud and Chris Peters there to his outside. Then we see Evan Stefanski starting down in 9th. We see Steven Stefanski rolling in there. He's going to have Jackie Whaley and Dylan Simmons, I do believe, to his outside. Ricky Thompson, Aaron Martin, Richard Cairo, Jason Zilmer, Ryan Howard, Cameron Stefanski, Johnny Nolan, Charles Davis, Troy Owenby, and Tam Van Hoesteven. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Tim. Tim coming in, starting there in the back of the pack in that 22nd position as 22 drivers ready to rock and roll here, ready to go to battle in this one. They're going to roll up to the front straight away, and they're going to get ready to be set loose. Austin Wormuth coming in, showing the love. What's good, Austin? Austin coming in, some matching that thumbs up. Craig Michael Deacon coming in, showing the love. How are you, Craig? My boy Clifford Bellamy. Cliff coming in with that like as well. Jeff Jackson coming in with the like and the share. Is Aaron Smith coming in, setting it off with the thumbs up here in the broadcast as well. So there you go. They're going to get lined up here on the front straightaway. These drivers ready to rock and roll. They're ready to be set loose. And a great look at these drivers down low. You see T-Jack blinking a little bit there. T-Jack unfortunately having some connection issues as, man, this is a beautiful sight. These drivers lined up 4 wide, ready for Tyler Jackson, the Black Diamond Mafia ride to set him loose as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from the beautiful Lincoln Speedway. Everyone trying to work themselves up through the field as T-Jack Tyler Jackson is going to lead lap number 1. So T-Jack out in front, showing them how to get it done here in this one. Dustin Benton there in second. Jacob Stefanski early here in third. And then you see Lon Franks running out our top 4. And then you see some contact deeper in the field. Drivers trying to keep themselves pointed in the right direction. You see the 23 ride of Chris Peters. Peters, unfortunately, one of those drivers that slid back here early in this race, already down 8 positions on the racetrack. TNT Racing, McConey setup shop. Number 23 ride trying to work himself back up towards the front of the field. Currently one of those drivers in competition here this evening with a chance at the championship here as he continues to have these good strong runs, continues to finish up towards the front of the field. Last week definitely hurt him quite a bit, had a flat tire late in the race, had to come down pit side, unfortunately just wasn't able to recover from it, and unfortunately finds himself once again deep in the field, but trying to battle back. Is out in front, Tyler Jackson continuing to lead the way. T-Jack showing him how to get it done here as this track has been reset. You can see how tacky it is. The crew has went to work. They've put some water on it. They tore it up a little bit. They backed her back in, and she is a brand new racetrack for these drivers to navigate here. And we're going to see this track go through some major swings. 20-plus drivers putting 125 laps down on the racing surface. We're going to see it go from super tacky, super racy out there. We're going to see these drivers continue to lay down some really good fast lap times. Those lap times are going to continue to get worse and worse as these laps continue to go on. This racetrack going to get slicker and slicker, and these guys are going to have their hands full, especially when it comes to late in this race when they're going to have almost no right rear tire, no right front tire, and the grip levels are going to be very down. The racetrack's going to be very slick, and we're going to see these drivers absolutely having their hands full out there on the racetrack. As T-Jack continues to lead the way. He's starting to roll into some lap traffic here in front of him. You see he gets closer and closer to that lap traffic here as you see them right in front of him. That is Tim Van Ovenstein and the 9 rider Troy Owenby right there in front of him. Richard Cairo, both Cairo out there on the racetrack in a very good looking number 14 machine out there on the racetrack looking for a good run here himself. Unfortunately for the Cairo Race Designs number 14 ride, not the start he wanted here in this one as he is deep in the field as my boy Bryce Richardson coming in with that like on the stream. Jesse Marcos coming in with that heart reaction as well, coming in showing the love here in this one as out in front. T-Jack continue to lead the way. These drivers all battling, though, around the racetrack, trying to find a way up towards the front of the field. Things right now, a little bit more calm. Drivers just finding a lane, finding a run here. Not a whole lot of side-by-side, but once this racetrack really starts to widen out a lot more, we're going to really start to see these drivers bounce around between the high side, the bottom side, and right down through the middle of the slick stuff. It's Anthony Garth. Anthony coming in, smashing that thumbs up here on the broadcast as well. How are you, Anthony? Anthony coming in, showing the love. Coming in, some matching that heart reaction as, woo, chat, this is a lot of fun. These guys have been putting on a great show for us already in this one, man. Some great racing. We haven't seen too much contact, and that's honestly what we're looking for, is not a lot of contact, some good, heads up racing, some good battles side by side, some good elbows up, beating and banging here and there, but for the most part, drivers doing a great job, running with some respect, and it's making it easy work here at the front of the field as T-Jack Tyler Jackson already unfortunately putting Tim Van Ovenstein down a lap, and so is in Troy Owenby as you see Brandon Culp trying to work himself underneath both those drivers as he's up in position number 4 here in that 22 ride, the Toys for Tots Throttle Down Motorsports number 22 ride, looking to have himself a good run here as he's getting chased down by William Hargraves. Hargraves there in position number 5. Jacob Stefanski and the big D machine of Dustin Benton there in second and third as another pair of teammates right there. The Throttle Down Motorsports rides of Dustin Benton and Jake Stefanski looking for some good runs and some good finishes here this evening. As out in front, Tyler Jackson continuing to just run everything he can out there. He's not letting these tires cool down. He's not letting these tires try to catch up to him. He is all the way in here. He is full throttle, and he is looking for the win, and he does not care. He's going to run these laps and hope for that tire blowout as soon as possible. It's better to get it sooner rather than later. If you could get that tire blowout around lap 60, lap 70, and be able to have 50, 60 laps if they're on the racetrack, to be able to run down the race leaders and gain your lap back or 2 laps back, and then be able to try to use those fresh tires to get up on top of the wheel and get the lead away with those freshies late in the race, compared to having a flat tire late in the race where you don't have enough time to try to rebound. If there's 3, 4, even 1 car that doesn't have a flat tire and they can roll it if they're on the racetrack for long enough, then they can put you a lap down in a quick hurry, and they can make your life miserable, and you may be playing catch up late in the race trying to figure out a way to run down the clock, run down the time that you need to catch up to that race leader, to that 1 car that hasn't made a pit stop, and you may not have enough time to get it done. We've seen it time and time again, and we may see it again here this evening as, man, these guys are putting on a great race for us, though. Some great drives, some great runs for each and every one of these drivers, as my boy Michael King, Mr. King, coming in, smashing that thumbs up on the broadcast as well. How are you, Michael? Michael coming in, setting it off. Anthony Karf again coming in, showing the love, and that's what I appreciate you guys as D-Jack Tyler Jackson, the Alpha Shark, out in front, showing the way here in this one. 32 and the 34 continue to battle back here. These are teammates battling for position number 2 on the racetrack, and that's exactly what Tyler Jackson wants to see as they continue to battle. He's continuing to just kind of mind that gap, keep these guys back there behind him, and see if he can try to just stretch out that lead a little bit more and a little bit more. Maybe put some lap cars in between himself and these other 2 drivers back there behind him, as there's a bit of a gap back now to William Hargraves from these 2, as you see Hargraves there in position number 4 and looking for more. Brandon Colt there in that 5th position with Lon Franks. They're in position number 6. Ryan Howard up 9 spots on the racetrack. The Dirty Mo Media Ride up into position number 7 on the racetrack here. Started back in the, I don't even know what that would be, 16th position. Already up 9 spots on the racetrack. Moving towards the front of the field, and so isn't Johnny Nolan. Johnny Nolan started back in the 19th spot, finds the 5J Ride. The Dark Side Racing, number 5J Ride up inside the top 10. They're in the 8th position. Dakota Proud there in 9th. And Steven Stefanski, Muscles, rounding out our top 10. Cameron Stefanski in the 92 ride, looking to have himself a good run in the Steve's Lawn Care number 92 machine. Outside the top 10, looking in. Currently up 7 spots on the racetrack here himself, working himself up towards the top 10. Unfortunately, he needs to gain 1 more spot, as it's a pair of Stefanskis, a trio of Stefanskis back here in the 10th, 11th, and 12th position. It's Steven, Cameron, and Evan right there rounding out our top 12, is Evan Stefanski in the 116 ride, currently in that 12th position on the racetrack in the Sunrise Racing number 116. Chris Peters, who had that abysmal start here to the evening, fell back deep in this race, is able to jump back up and make some passes here. He finds himself now in that 13th position, still 5 spots back from where he started. Saw a little contact on that opening lap, and unfortunately bent himself towards the rear of the field, but looking to rebound, just trying to keep that 23 ride out of trouble here for the rest of the night, looking to bring home another good finish, as Jason Zilmer right there behind him. In the VP Racing Fuels, number 34 ride there in position number 14, and Jackie Whaley in the DWR iRacing iFlag JRE machine there rounding out our top 15. Aaron Martin, my boy Aaron M29, they're in position number 16, looking for a good run here out of that 29 ride, as he's rolling here in that 16th position. He's got the 33 ride of Dylan Simmons back there behind him, a little ways away. Richard Gyro right there as well as Richard. And these guys are starting to become at risk of going a lap down. A pair of drivers at risk of going 2 laps down here, as you see Tim Van Oonstein and Troy Owenby both at risk of going a lap down, the 2 laps down. Charles Davis at risk of going a lap down here himself from the 50 ride, and Ricky Thompson already a lap down here as the 224 ride back there in the 20th position, as you see our race leader right there trying to reel in some more lap traffic here, trying to figure out a way to jump up here and get around these guys as he continues to cruise back here patiently behind some of this lap traffic. He's starting to lose that race lead here as Jacob Stefanski and Dustin Benton closing in on him. laps. They're down to within a second here between themselves and Tyler Jackson. So Jackson, seeing those cars that have been chasing them down here all evening long, starting to get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger there in his rear view mirror, and he's going to be trying to hold on to keep these drivers at bay, as Dustin and Jacob have been running each other as hard as any competitors out there on the racetrack here all evening long. They've been basically door to door here for most of these laps. They continue to bounce off each other, continue to run each other hard out there on the racetrack. Neither one of them giving up or giving an inch out there, as they both want to finish in front of one another. As my boy Black Phoenix 843 coming in, showing the big love here in this one with that heart reaction on the stream. How are you, my boy? How are you, brother? Coming in, showing the love here this evening. As, man, these guys are putting in the work, ladies and gentlemen. They are putting in the work, and we're not even close to halfway in this race. I mean, we are lap number 36 up on the board here. We got 90 laps of racing action left to be had here this evening. That is a ton of laps, a ton of driving, and you can see this racetrack already in the first 36 laps of this race starting to change quite a bit out there. You see these drivers starting to slide, you know, around the racetrack a little bit more. That middle lane starting to go away. The inside lane starting to get thinner and thinner, and drivers getting higher and higher up towards that outside wall. Before you know it, that high lane is going to be pushed way up there towards that black and white Lincoln Speedway outside wall here, and it's going to get very difficult for drivers to try to navigate around this racetrack. As my boy Billy coming in, showing the love as well. How are you, Billy? Billy coming in, smashing that like on the stream. Billy Tabor coming in, showing the love with the thumbs up. How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Kara Billy Tabor coming in, showing the love here in this one. As, man, these guys are putting on a show. These guys are really letting you guys get a good look at what they can do out there on the racetrack. And I'm going to quit talking here for a minute as we'll jump into a quick PeaceMaker game and crank it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite driver as we crank it up here on PeaceMaker Gaming. drivers continue to put on an absolutely wicked show here for us. Each and every one of them laying down some great lap times, still finding some great speed out there on the racetrack, but it's still all Tyler Jackson. As T-Jack has been the reflection of perfection here all evening long. He's led every single lap so far in this 8:22 ride. The Black Diamond Mafia, Majula Say Speed Shop, shopfergie22.com. Johnson Speed Shots ride is looking very strong here once again this evening. As T-Jack, Tyler Jackson looking to try to pick up the checkered flag. Dustin Benton back there behind him in position number 2, as that's how they sit right now in the point standings, as well as that number 34 ride chasing down Tyler Jackson, not only on the track but also in the point standings here. In lap after lap after lap, he sees that 8:22 ride getting farther and farther away from him. As Tyler Jackson's now opened that lead back up to about a 2-second advantage here between himself and the 34 ride. Continues to find more speed out there on the racetrack, and see Jacob Stefanski back there in that 3rd position. Stefanski looking for a good run and a good drive here as well in that number 32 ride, as he continues to click him off, continues to just try to hunt down that 34 ride, trying to get back to his throttle down motorsports teammate. As you see William Hargraves in the Dirt Panda, Malum Electric, Joyride Designs, Viv Liquor, number 71H ride there in position number 4, and Steven Stefanski muscles. Steven able to find himself a way up inside the top 5 now, as he's up 5 spots on the racetrack. Stefanski up 5 spots here. Not too long ago, we looked back there and saw him back in the 10th position, so he's been able to make up some ground here over the last little bit, finding some good speed, finding some good lanes up here, as he's getting hooked up around the high side of the racetrack. Lon Franks right there in position number 6, currently down 3 spots on the racetrack. You see Chris Peters back there behind him, the TNT Racing, McConey Setup Shop, Sim Wrap Market number 23 machine there in position number 7. A great run and a great drive here for Chris Peters. We saw him get tied up early in the race. He's able to stick with it and just keep it on out there on the racetrack. Continues to run down some good laps, continuing to try to find more passes here as he slides up in front of the 10 right along Franks here for position number 6 on the racetrack. So Chris Peters working himself back up towards the front after some early contact and some early mishaps out of that 23 ride. He's rebounded nicely. Lon Franks there in that 7th spot. Now is Brandon Cole back up inside the top 10 as the 22 ride has been able to work himself back up inside the top 10, as you see Evan Stefanski right there as well. He now finds himself in that 9th position, as unfortunately here Johnny Nolan sliding back here a little bit. Nolan was up almost inside the top 5 here in that 5J ride. Now he's sliding outside the top 10 as Dakota Brown going to work to the inside of that 5J ride. As Dakota Brown, last week's winner, unfortunately finds himself back in the 10th position, but there's still a lot of time and a lot of strategy being played for these drivers. But this racetrack's starting to take a turn here through the middle portion of this race. You see this track really slicking off now. These drivers starting to lose that tires, and unfortunately the more and more that right rear starts to go down, the less and less traction these drivers are going to have, and it's like driving on ice out there, and they're going to have their hands full here in a quick hurry. If I keep seeing these drivers trending in that direction, we're starting to see more and more rear ends starting to slip out. Drivers starting to have a little bit more of a difficult time out there on the racetrack trying to keep their foot in the throttle, and unfortunately if you keep on finding those marks and spinning those tires, it's just going to create more damage and more bad times for you out there on the racetrack. As you see Dylan Simmons now taking a look to the inside of the 5J ride, trying to work himself up into position number 11 on the racetrack. Jason Zilmer there in position number 13, as you see Jackie Whaley there in 14th. He's been right around this spot all evening long, as Ryan Howard in the 4 ride, unfortunately sliding backwards now here himself, as the 4 machine back to the 15th position. Aaron Martin's been right there in that 16th spot here for a lot of laps. So you see Bo Cairo there, Richard Cairo in position at number 17 on the racetrack, as Cameron Stefanski back here, unfortunately, is the first driver 1 lap down in that number 92 ride, the WB Crave Designs Steve's Lawn Care Sunrise Racing number 92 ride, 1 lap down behind our race leader Tyler Jackson, right there in front of him. Ricky Thompson back there in the 19th spot, and behind him the 50 rider Charles Davis rounding out our top 20. Tim Van Ovenstein up into the outside fence here, the 94 ride, having a tough break here as Tim unfortunately climbs the outside fence, having a tough run here in this one, as there goes the 822 Tyler Jackson. Gonna put him another lap down here, and definitely not the way he wanted his evening to go here, as you see Troy Owenby also having a rough time out there on the racetrack, but getting some great learning experience here as the Jegs in number 9 ride rounds out our field, as Brandon Culp having some issues here. Culp turned around, he's trying to get that car pointed back in the right direction. Tough break right there for the 22 ride. It's the Toys for Tots 22, the Throttle Down Motorsports machine, having a tough break right there. Gets that car recollected, but finds himself now back in the 17th position. So Culp, not only once, but now twice, having issues out there on the racetrack. And unfortunately, that may be too much to prevail here this evening, as here you go. Here comes our race leader, Tyler Jackson, T-Jack, right there. Trying to hunt down that 22 ride, knowing that he would love to try to put him behind him and put him a lap down, as Amy Marie Stefanski. Amy coming in with that heart reaction on the broadcast. How are you, Amy? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying the racing action, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as Tyler Jackson out in front, continuing to show him how to get it done here. He's got a 3-second advantage now between himself and Dustin Benton, as Benton there in position number 2 now has his rear view mirror being filled by the 32 of Jacob Stefanski in the Throttle Down Motorsports Sunrise Racing WB Crave Designs number 32 ride there in that 3rd position. William Hargraves about 2 seconds back there behind those two, as the Malm Electric Viv's Liquor Dirt Panda number 71H finds himself still there in position number 4. And now Chris Peters finds himself up inside the top 5 here, so a great rebound and now gaining some positions. We saw him back probably about in the 20th position on the racetrack, almost dead last here in this SimRap Market TNT racing ride, you know, at the start of this race, and he's been able to slowly but surely battle himself back up there, passing a lot of tough drivers. Now finds himself up inside the top 5. Sorry, excuse me, chat. My gosh. As D-Jack, Tyler Jackson, continues to lead the way here, as my boy Tim Taylor says, save those tires, Peters, then power down and kiss that trophy girl. Yes, Sirski, kissing that trophy girl. That's what everyone wants to do. That is for certain. That is for certain. But yeah, it's tire saving, but I don't know. These guys have been running pretty hard all evening long. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not they decide to just keep running as hard as possible, if they're going to go into tire savings, or if they're going to hope for a tire blowout before it's too late. You know, hopefully they hit it sooner rather than later. We haven't seen too many drivers having issues yet. We haven't really seen drivers just spinning out by themselves and having that, you know, right rear issue yet. But things can snap around and things can happen in a quick hurry. One set of corners, you can have some good grip, you can be running some good laps, and all of a sudden the next corner, your speed can be absolutely gone. Those rear tires can be gone, and you could be you know, driving on ice out there on the racetrack. As T-Jack, Black Diamond Mafia, Majulis A Speed Shop ride out in front, continuing to lead the way, looking for more drivers to put back there behind him, more drivers to put a lap down here. More of an insurance issue here for the 822 ride, in case if he does have to make that pit stop, trying to keep these drivers as far back as possible. As right there in front of them, our 15th place driver, Bo Cairo, and the 22 of Brandon Culp right there as well. Ryan Howard in that mix. You see Johnny Nolan up there as well. So a few of our competitors at risk of going a lap down is right there in front of them. Little contact. Bo Cairo unfortunately slowed down on the inside of the racetrack. And looks like T-Jack going to throw that slide job here and put Bo, unfortunately, a lap down. So move the 14 ride back to position number 15 on the, or 14 on the racetrack. And fortunately, 1 lap down there for that 14 ride. So things going to continue to happen here in a quick hurry. Drivers continue to have some issues out there on the racetrack. Is yeah, it's all right. See ya. Bots in the chat, bro. Bots in the YouTube chat. They always like to pop in there, don't they? Or on the Twitch stream, sorry. It's Tyler Jackson out in front, continuing to lead the way here. One driver that has been slowing down. He's now stretched that lead out to about 3.5 seconds here. And he's running a bit of a different line, a bit of a crazy line out there on the racetrack. He's not letting her, you know, he's not really slowing down any little bit out there on the racetrack. He's just continuing to hit his marks, continuing to try to run the fastest laps around the racetrack. As he slides right down through the slide job lane up to the high side there on corner exit. Finds some good speed and powers down here as now you see Dustin Benton, our second place driver, having some issues here. He's kind of stuck right in the middle of some of this lap traffic, trying to figure out a way to get around all these drivers as he's got Cameron Stefanski right there in front of him. Jason Zilmer there as well. Aaron Martin right in that mix, trying to put the pressure on that 34 ride as now you see Dustin going to slide up in front of that other 34 on the racetrack, the 134 of Jason Zilmer, to move around him and try to put him behind him as that number 34 ride, unfortunately, this one goes clean and green right down to the very end. He may not have anything or enough time out there on the racetrack to hunt down our race leaders. You see Brandon Kolb turned around there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Another tough break there for Kolb as he's trying to get himself turned back around. Oh, little contact. Good heads-up driving, though. Ricky Thompson able to keep himself really off of that 22 ride, not causing more issues or spinning anyone else around right there. As Steven Stefanski, our sixth place driver, was right there as well as they went 3 wide and went back around that 22 ride. A tough break there for Brandon Kolb. Is out in front. T-Jack stretching that lead. 4.3 seconds now between himself and Dustin Benton. So it's basically a whole straightaway there. It's down across the line. You see the number 34 just coming out at corner number 4 here. So he's got some ground to make up. He's still got some lap traffic here. He's got to try to figure out a way to get around it. Still right in front of him. You see Johnny Nolan, Cameron Stefanski, Bo Gyro all right there. None of these drivers wanting to give an inch out there on the racetrack, and they're all running for position here where Dustin is on the lead lap. He's not part of this battle. He's just trying to get around them and trying to hunt down our race leader. Unfortunately, he's slowly running out of time here, and T-Jack continues to just find speed here. Continues to just hit his marks, continues to find speed, continues to just try to keep this 822 ride out in front as things are going to get very wild here. The closing laps of this race, I'm assuming, are going to be absolutely crazy. We saw it there. Oh, the 9 ride right there. Fortunately for Troy Owen, be a tough night, getting even worse as he gets turned around there, pointing the wrong direction as the rear end just kicked out and around on him as those tires really starting to fade away now. We can see this become an onslaught of issues out there on the racetrack for some of these drivers as you see Lincoln Stefanski there in third now as Lon Franks behind him as Franks up into position number 4 and looking for more. Not too far back there, you see that 23 ride of Chris Peters there in position number 5. Steven Stefanski there in 6th. Dylan Simmons there in 7th. Evan Stefanski up into the 8th position here. Jackie Whaley now up inside the top 10 here as William Hargraves sliding backwards here. Hargraves now finds himself back in the 10th position here as Will sliding backwards. We saw him up inside the top 5 for a lot of this race. Now finds himself trying to hold on to a top 10. Dakota Proud, last week's winner, back here as well, down 4 spots as him and Hargraves have both lost 4 spots on the racetrack. Find themselves back in the 10th and 11th position now on the racetrack. Johnny Nolan down a lap here. I do believe he is the first driver 1 lap down, and unfortunately no caution flag, so no lucky dogs or anything else here for the 5J ride. But if something happens to Tyler Jackson or Dustin Benton, he could be that first driver to try to get himself a lap back, but it may not be for very long as he makes a little mistake, gets up into the outside wall. There goes the 14 ride of Richard Cairo trying to find a way around him as it's a gaggle of cars back here behind these two. And out in front though, T-Jack, Tyler Jackson, continuing to stretch his lead, almost 4.8, almost 5 seconds between himself and Dustin Benton here as T-Jack just putting on a clinic here. There you go. Dustin now finally going down across the line right there. T-Jack up in through quarter number 2 and out of quarter number 2 there. So T-Jack with a pretty good lead here. Pretty demanding lead, a pretty commanding lead out there on the racetrack, as he's also now put, unfortunately, another driver a lap down, as well as more drivers having issues out there on the racetrack, but only 11 drivers on the lead lap, and now the 19 of Dakota Proud. Last week's winner going to get into it with the 224 ride. The 224 gets into it with Dustin Benton. Benton gets into the back end of that 224, and that's going to send him back a little bit farther here. So that's going to take more time off here for Dustin Benton as he gets into the back end of that 224. Unfortunately, was already down about 5 seconds. Now T-Jack with almost 7 seconds here out in front. So he's loving life here at the front of the field for Tyler Jackson as he continues to just click these laps off lap by lap by lap. As that time by the start finish line, only 15 more laps left to go in. Have some pretty bad connection issues there, blinking quite a bit on the racetrack, but we know where he is. He's out in front, continuing to hit his marks, continuing to try to run away in this one, as Dustin Benton right there in second. Lon Franks now up into third here. Steven Stefanski there in fourth. Dylan Simmons back in seventh, as we see Jacob Stefanski battling here, trying to hold on to that 32 ride as he's slipping and sliding around. Him and Chris Peters slow on the racetrack here, as Peters right there in that battle as well as they slide. Oh, they make some more contact. Around goes Stefanski. Jacob Stefanski going to go around here once again. That is going to put Jacob a lap down now, as less than 10 drivers left on the lead lap here, as Tyler Jackson sees another one right there in front of him. That's Chris Peters, one of his championship counterparts here in the season. He would love to try to put him a lap down and put him behind him, as man, Tyler Jackson has been running just a perfect race here right from the drop of the green flag. Trying to get it all the way down to the checker flag here, trying to be the reflection of perfection all evening long. 125 laps, trying to lead it clean and green here, and he's done so far for 114 laps, and he's only got 11 more laps left to go, this time by the start-finish line. Wow. 114 laps of being out in front here for T-Jack, and he's looking to keep on keeping on here. He's looking to just keep this 822 ride underneath of him. Dustin Benton has been closing the gap here. He's been running him down. Fortunately, has a lot of ground to make up here, and Tyler Jackson could be just taking it precautiously out there on the racetrack, just trying to run it nice and clean. Had some lap traffic there with him, but his gap has shrunk now. It was up to almost 7 seconds, but it's down to about 4 seconds now. So we better be careful, better keep an eye on that relative, and make sure that he doesn't give up too much time here to that 34 right of Dustin Benton, as you don't want Dustin to get anywhere close to you late in this race, where that 34 right might be able to jump up and take a swing at you, trying to make something happen, trying to make a move to get around you late in this race. And bumps and runs are appreciated out there on the racetrack, as sometimes, you know, Robin is racing when it comes to a win. That's what you got to do. As Lon Franks, they're in position number 3. Dylan Simmons having a good run, finds himself now in that 4th position here, as right behind him Muscles, the 15 ride and the Sunrise Racing ride. They're in position number 5 on the racetrack. Jackie Whaley finds himself up in the 6th position with Evan Stefanski, William Hargraves, Chris Peters rounding out our top 9. Jacob Stefanski, the first car, 1 lap down. They're in position number 10, as Cameron Stefanski, Bo Cairo, Dakota Proud, Aaron Martin, Jason Zilmer rounding out our top 15. Ryan Howard there in 16th. Johnny Nolan, Charles Davis, Brandon Colt, Tim Ovenstein, Ricky Thompson, and Troy Owenby rounding out the field here in this one. Is out in front. Tyler Jackson continuing to lead the way. He's opened up that lead a little bit more again. He's been able to find another gear. He's gotten through some lap traffic, has some clean racetrack here in front of him, and he's able to make it work. He's letting it have its way here, as, and the 822, the Black Diamond Mafia, the Julius A Speed Shop, Johnson Speed Shots, ShopFergie22.com. Looking very, very strong here. Is down across the line. He's going to see 4 more laps left to go. 4 more laps here for Tyler Jackson to try to get it done here in this one. Has a 5-second gap between himself and Dustin Benton, as the Big D Machine the Throttle Down Motorsports Precision Auto Bodies. Number 34 ride back here in position number 2. Lon Franks, the iRacing iFlag DWR. JRE Machine back there in position number 3. Dylan Simmons, the Throttle Down Motorsports White Knuckle Setup Shops. Number 33 ride there in 4th with Steven Stefanski. The Sunrise Racing number 15 ride there in that 5th position. Jackie Whaley, Chris Peters, Evan Stefanski, William Hargraves, and Jacob Stefanski. Still rounding out our top 10 is Tyler Jackson. Putting some of these drivers back there behind him, putting more drivers between himself and Dustin Benton. Is Benton trying to hunt him down, trying to track him down, but he may be running out of time. As a bit of a slide jump there around some lap traffic, T-Jack puts himself up into the outside fences, this time by the start-finish line. The white flag has been displayed, so one more time around here for Tyler Jackson as Jackson down the back straightaway for the final time here this evening, nice and easy. Down through quarter number 3, up into the outside fence. He's able to keep her pointed in the right direction. Is down the back or front straightaway. He's going to see that checker flag fly, and Tyler Jackson is going to pick up the win, and he's going to park that Black Diamond Mafia 822 ride up here in victory lane here in the Throttle Down Motorsports Enduro Series. 4.57 seconds. The difference between himself, 4.5 seconds between him and Dustin Benton for this top spot. Dustin there in second with Lon Franks coming home in position number 3. Dylan Simmons there in 4th, and Jackie Whaley rounding out our top 5 here this evening. What a run, what a race, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, if you guys enjoyed that racing action, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. So we're going to get ready to jump up into the broadcast booth here with our top 3 finishers. They're going to get, or top 5 finishers, as they're going to get lined up here on the front straightaway. Woo! What a run, what a drive there for Tyler Jackson. 125 laps of being out in front. He was the man all evening long. Picked up that pole position in qualifying, started this race from the top spot and never looked back as he led 125 laps around Lincoln Speedway here this evening to park that number 822 up in victory line as the Alpha Shark coming home with a bit of a shark bite here on the rest of the field, a stomping out there on the racetrack. Alrighty, let's see if we can find, there he is. All right, T-Jack up here in the broadcast booth. We're going to pull him in right now. Hey, Tyler, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
What's up, Aaron?
Not much, man. What a beating there. You just gave everyone else here in the field, dude. Wowzers, what a run, what a drive. You lead every single lap. The reflection of perfection here. Qualifying in that pole position, quickly jumping out in front, using that inside lane and all the tackiness to your advantage to open up a little bit of a lead there. You're sitting there comfortably for a little while, and then, you know, slowly and surely, lap by lap, you start to grow that lead a little bit more, and a little bit more. And then late in this race, you're just playing the, you know, traffic game and just trying to keep yourself out of trouble out there on the racetrack, and you bring it home here after leading 125 laps with some very difficult competition here in this race. It's got to feel pretty dang good.
Yeah, man. It seems like every race we've had so far in this series, you've either had to choose if you're going to run hard or save, or you're going to run hard and try to blow the right rear and pit. And just I did like 30 laps before we got in the server, and it seemed like the tire fall off was not really an issue. So I went really hard at the beginning. Then pretty much, I mean, I'd say lap 50 on, we were just in conserve mode. Really didn't want to pass lap cars if we didn't have to. But then, you know, they keep getting a little squirrely in front of you, so you really kind of want to get by them. So every once in a while, you'd have to stand on the gas and kind of use them up a little bit. You know, some of them were a little unpredictable, but yeah, we still got 48% right rear, so we could have done another 125.
Jeepers, well, I'm going to have to tell Dustin to change the final race of the season. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Man, that's absolutely wild. I mean, that was the big question coming into this race, and knowing that usually it's pretty slicked off here, but it being a bit of a smaller racetrack as well. The corner's pretty tight, pretty small, and not, tremendous amounts of speed around the racetrack, but still, the tire wear and the tire failures that could have happened there were definitely a big question, as none of us really run 125 laps on a regular basis, especially in a feature event with, 20, 30 other drivers out there on the racetrack. It's a whole different ball game, and to be able to just go out there and run your laps and to be able to do it as fast as you did and at the front of the field and keep yourself out of the trouble there is quite miraculous. And being able to come home with almost 50% right rear tire still left on that car, knowing that you can run probably another 15, 20, 50 laps, however much gas you can still get in that car here into victory lane is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure if we needed to really save at all. But I figured, we had a good gap, and I figured as long as they weren't closing the gap on me too much, I'd just continue to save. And if they ever did get to me or I had an issue, then I'd have more right rear at the end and maybe be able to get back by them. But yeah, it was kind of just picking and choosing. And honestly, the race went better as far as narrow as this track is. I thought it was going to be a little more chaotic than it was. I think we have a few less cars tonight, so maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, it was a pretty clean race, and honestly, only a couple near misses. Where some of these races, we've had 5 or 10 near misses. So yeah, last week we spun out twice and we got the bad luck out of the way. And tonight, start on the pole's huge, and then you can kind of set your own pace. And all I kept telling myself was I didn't want to look like Ty Gibbs yesterday and finish 15th. So we tried to keep the car underneath us.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely did that as you parked the 822 ride up here in the Lincoln Speedway victory lane. Tyler, who would you like to thank for another great run, another great drive, and another victory here in the series, stretching your points lead out a little bit more?
Yeah, all the guys at Black Diamond Mafia brought me along, and I don't think we had anybody running tonight, but there's probably some of them watching on the stream. Majul say Speed Shop, shopfergie22.com, KC Speedworks. Carl builds all the street stock open setup stuff for CFM. So if you need an open setup, that's where it's at. And with this new update, I think it's going to level the playing field for everybody, and I think we're all kind of starting back over at zero. So yeah, get out, get some setups. You for the broadcast, Dustin, all the guys, the Stefanskis, everybody that runs this league. I really am enjoying it. It's a lot of fun trying to kind of manage your tires and just use your head. It's not always about setting the fastest lap and just kind of thinking a little more. The street stocks are a little slower car, but you actually probably do more thinking than you do reacting. So yeah, a lot of fun, and congrats to the top 5.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, great run, great drive, the reflection of perfection, leading all the laps. Here this evening, not giving anyone else really an opportunity at all, and late in this race, closing the door, pulling away, and making sure that these drivers stay back there behind you and keeping yourself out of trouble to pick up another checkered flag here in the series. Congratulations, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack here next Monday.
All right, see you next week. Have a good night.
You too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner. Tyler Jackson is T-Jack, picking up the win in parking that number 822 ride up here in victory lane. What a run and what a drive right there for Tyler Jackson. As we're going to get ready, we're going to pull in our second place finisher, our second place driver, Dustin Benton. Is Benton coming home here in position number 2. We're going to pull the Big D machine up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Dustin, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Dustin, my boy, another good run, another good race. Unfortunately, just one spot shy of where you want to be here. Again in the series, but you were right there for a little bit. You were within striking distance of Tyler Jackson, but man, he was just so strong all evening long and just making no mistakes out there on the racetrack and not really giving you much opportunity to close that gap there late in the race.
Yeah, I felt like when we was in clean air and there was no lap cars around, I was catching him a little bit, but as soon as we get to lappers, he was a lot more aggressive around lappers as a whole. I'll say he was kind of moving them out of his way, which that's part of this series. But I'm just scared with some of those guys that you move them out of the way, and then the next corner you're gonna get dumped. So I kind of try to be patient and work my way around them. but it sure didn't pay off tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, 4.5 seconds back there trying to hunt down that 8:22 ride late in this race. But, man, you still got to feel pretty good. I mean, you put in a lot of great laps, a lot of great driving out there on the racetrack, and being able to keep, 20 other great drivers back there behind you, and at bay to be able to park that 34 right back up here in position number 2. Obviously, not being in the spot you want to be, not seeing the driver that you wanted probably up there in victory lane if anyone was going to beat you here this evening, as you're trying to hunt down T-Jack here for the points lead in the championship battle. But nonetheless, it was still a great run and a great drive here for yourself, knowing that all those talented drivers were still back there behind you. The car looked good and looked fast out there on the track, just came up a little bit shy here in this one.
Yeah, hats off to Tyler. He was fast, and I don't mind losing, but you know what they say, second place is just the first loser. So I gotta go harder early, I guess. I was trying to save there a little bit, and then me and Jake got to racing real hard and heavy and beating and banging with each other, and hell, that was the most fun I had all night. After that, it kind of got spread out, and it was pretty much just hold on and pretty boring. Got there at one point, but then got around a lot of lappers, and that made it exciting again, just trying to get around all those guys, and some of them racing you harder than they probably should, but hey, they're on the track too, so you got to work your way around them somehow.
Absolutely, brother. Has a great run and a great drive here for you. Come home in position number 2. Dustin, who would you like to thank for another great run and another strong performance here this evening from Lincoln Speedway?
Well, I gotta say, I hate it for my teammate Jake. He was in third and had a really good, strong race going, and unfortunately, he checked up a little bit because of a lap car, and somebody just drove in there and pretty much spun him out. Hate to see that. 111 laps into a race, you don't want to run third almost the whole entire race and then get spun out on lap 111. It's heartbreaking, but hate it for him. But I gotta thank you first and foremost, Aaron, for everything you do for us and putting out these awesome broadcasts that you do. Gotta thank my wife and my little girl for putting up with me racing and being out here away from them on Monday nights. Gotta thank all my Throwdowns Motorsports teammates for all they do and all the support. And we got a tight knit group. We was glad to see old Brandon Cook finally was able to make an appearance tonight. He's been MIA for a long time. He races a real car, and then he broke his arm at the end of the season and ain't been able to race on iRacing. So glad to see him back around a little bit. And Precision Auto Body, racing for Randy on the back of my car. Always thinking about you, buddy. Miss you, love you. WB Creative Designs for all he does for me and everybody on the team. Glad he's a team sponsor and glad he's on board. Anybody needs a nice paint, get with Wade over at WB Creative Designs. He's really good at doing replicas. So if you're interested in a replica and want it pretty close, he's your guy. And thanks to all the racers coming out, supporting and sticking it out. I think most people are having a lot of fun, but we did have a little bickering and arguing tonight in the over iRacing, and we can't be doing that. So we'll have to talk about that in the next drivers meeting next week. But overall, we've had a good series so far, and look forward to 3 more weeks to go.
Absolutely. 3 more tough races ahead of you here, and you're trying to chase down the guy that beat you here tonight in this one. Dustin, what's your game plan going forward here in the next few races? You're just going to go hammer down right at the get-go, or you're going to play it a little safe in the odd race, or, what's the game plan there for the 34 ride, knowing that you got to pick up those points and gain those positions over Tyler Jackson to try to steal this championship away?
Hell, at this point, Aaron, I think I'm just going to have to try my best to qualify 5th, start right behind him and spin him out in corner 1. let him take out the whole field.
There you go. That might be the best bet right there. Dustin, my boy, congrats on the great run, a great race, brother, and we look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack next Monday.
Yeah, you too, Aaron. That was just a joke.
We know, we know.
We'll go back to work and see what we can do.
We look forward to it and look forward to seeing you up here again in the broadcast booth.
Yes, sir. So,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for our second place finisher, Dustin Benton, as Dustin coming home there in position number 2. A great run and a great drive right there as Rick Mallon coming in with that follow over on YouTube. And Opdu 78 coming in, dropping that follow as well. Cody Lindell coming in, dropping that follow over on Facebook as Opdu says, hey there, I think your streams are awesome. That's why I followed you. I'd love to connect a friend and be a fan if that's cool with you. Feel free to reach out on me on my Discord. No, I'm all right. Sorry. Fucking bots, brother. These bots are outrageous over on YouTube and shit nowadays, man. They're so bad. Yo, Scott coming in with that like on the stream. Dakota Brown coming in with that like as well. One of the other bots that dropped into the chat here hitting the like as well as TV On, which is also a bot. That's why they put a fake Flow Racing site on my stream, which we hid and deleted. So get gone, bot. My boy Cody Horton coming in with the like on the stream as well. How are you, Cody? Cody coming in, showing the love as well here in this one as we get ready to pull in our third place finisher. Lon Franks waiting patiently here up in the broadcast booth. We're going to pull Lon up into the broadcast booth here for his post-race interview. Hey, Lon, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Hey, what's up, dude? I got
Not much, man. A good run and a good drive here for the 10 ride as you're able to work yourself back up through the field here after, not the best start. You slid back there a little bit, but slowly but surely you're able to battle back. And late in this race, you find yourself way up into position number 3 and working it up here with a solid podium run. It's got to feel pretty dang good knowing that, you have 2 tough cookies and Tyler Jackson and Dustin Benton there in front of you.
Yeah, I I had a whole lot of tire left, man. I could have ran way harder early, and I didn't. I wish I would have, but it is what it is, It's kind of like the boys at Bristol this past weekend.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of trying to save tire. You might actually have a lot of tire left underneath you there. And T-Jack was saying the same thing. He came in and he was saying, you have 48 right rear left out there. We could have ran another 125 laps and still would have been good, probably. Like, that's a total turnaround.
Yeah, same with me. I had 46 or 48%. Like, that's a lot. Last week I had 8%.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I saved way too much.
Yeah,
Not even close.
Definitely a bit of a turn of events here. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's the Lincoln dirt here or what it may be. Cooler night here at the racetrack or whatnot, because a lot of these races we've been seeing those tire failures. 100 laps in, 110 laps in, and here tonight drivers are still having half the tire left, or 40%, even 30% compared to 0 or single digits like we've seen here in the past few weeks. Makes a huge difference. It really it seemed like everybody kind of off guard there, realizing that they could have went a lot harder, a lot quicker, a lot sooner, and maybe even not had to really save any tire here this evening, and been able to just battle it out and race a race all night long.
Yeah, I'll make a note of it for sure, because it might be the dirt or the track. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely have plenty left, so I'll make a note and I'll drive it harder next time if we come back here, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep that one in the memory banks. But Lon, a great run and a great drive. You bring that 10 ride home in position number 3. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'd like to thank my teammates over at DWR, all the guys just working with each other. Makes me a better racer. Like to thank BladeNode.com, iRacing iFlag, Martin Sports, BCR Sim Products, 304 Roots, J&D Trucking and Landscape Supply, Junk Fabrication, JRE, like I said, the whole team, you for broadcasting it, Dustin for putting it together, and yeah, friends and family for watching, and wife for letting me do this for a couple hours a week.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Lon, it's always a pleasure to talk to you up here in the broadcast booth, and we look forward to seeing you back out on the racetrack next Monday, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth again, maybe a couple spots better and up in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I can get used to this. We'll keep it coming if we can. We'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, and congratulations again on the third place run.
Thank you, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for our third place finisher, Lon Franks. Frank's coming home there in position number 3. We're going to get ready. We're going to pull in our fourth place finisher, Dylan Simmons. Simmons coming home here in position number 4, looking for more, up 8 spots on the racetrack. I do believe it's going to give Dylan the Hard Charger Award as well here. So going from 12th to 4th here on the evening. Late in the race, we saw some big movers throughout this race, up 10, 12, 15 positions on the racetrack. And, you know, it comes down to the very, very end. And 33 rider Dylan Simmons able to find extra gear late in this one, keep that foot in the throttle, and finds a way to get that 33 ride up into position number 4. Mama Bear, Susie Dickinson. Mama Bear coming in with the love here with that heart reaction. And Max Busboom coming in, showing the love as well with the heart reaction as well. Scott Speece, my boy Speacer coming in, showing the love, dropping that thumbs up on the broadcast as well, coming in, showing the big love here in this one as we'll get ready to pull Dylan Simmons up into the broadcast booth. Hey, Dylan, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Dylan, man, what a run, what a drive here as you were able to jump up here late in the race and find a way towards the front of the field and park that 33 ride up here in position number 4. You're looking for more. Unfortunately, not enough time out there late in this race to hunt down Lon Franks, Dustin Bent, and Tyler Jackson, but you were able to pass 8 drivers from where he started, picking up that Hard Charger Award here on the evening, man. Take us back through this race and how you were able to get it done.
Early on, I fell back to around 17th and was just riding for a little bit, and then Tyler got to where he was. He was on the same straightaway I was, so I knew I needed to pick it up, and when I finally picked it up, I ran hard the rest of the race, and I'm honestly surprised I didn't blow a tire.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of drivers trying to save tires, trying to not have that tire failure. But a lot of them were talking about having a lot of right rear tire left in their rides. Even Tyler Jackson and Lon Franks both said they were right around 48% right rear tire left in their cars after the checkered flag. So tire issues really didn't play a factor here this evening, where we've seen it in weeks after weeks after weeks where those tires become virtually, you know, single digits left on them or blowouts themselves. And here tonight didn't seem to be a huge issue, so you might have been one of those drivers that was trying to save, and then late in this race realizing that you didn't even really have to save it there here at Lincoln.
Yeah, like I said, for the last probably 60 or so laps, I ran hard, and then about 10 laps to go, I felt it starting to give, and I was like, I don't want to blow now. You know, it's too late in the race to blow a tire, so I started running. I wasn't even running half throttle down the straightaways and was just coasting through the corners, and it held up for me.
Absolutely. Well, that's good because you come home in position number 4 and park that 33 right up here on the front straightaway. Not in a podium spot, but close enough here where they saw the 4th place run. Dylan, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Yeah, I think the guys at Throttle Down Motorsports, we help each other every week, and we've been getting faster and faster. I thank you for the broadcast, and Dustin for putting this league on.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Dylan, another good run, another good drive here for you. Hopefully we'll see you that 33 ride back up here in the broadcast booth next Monday. Maybe a couple spots better and up in victory lane yourself.
Yes, sir. See you next week.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 4th place finisher, the 33 rider, Dylan Simmons, as he comes home here in position number 4. As we're going to get ready, we're going to pull in our 5th place finisher now, our 5th place driver, the final post-race interview here on the evening, the 720 of Jackie Whaley, as we're going to pull Jackie up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Jackie, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir. Got a copy.
Jackie, my boy, a great run and a great drive here for you as you get that 720 ride late in this race, slowly but surely up towards the front of the field here. You're able to bring it home with a solid top 5 run late in this one. But man, we saw you back there deep in this field, throughout a lot of the beginning portion of this race, and then slowly but surely we saw Tyler Jackson and Dustin Benton trying to hunt you down here, trying to put you a lap down. They got within about a straightaway of you, and then all of a sudden you put the switch on, you start to put the foot to the throttle and really start to click them off and put these drivers back there behind you late in this race, and able to bring it home with a solid top 5 finish. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. And these races are pretty interesting. I mean, you got to think it's kind of like strategy. And I don't know. I think I just waited a little bit too long again. Maybe I need to drive the car a little bit harder at the beginning of the race. But I don't know. The car it was still pretty drivable at the end of the race. Felt like I was moving pretty good, and maybe just needed a couple more laps. I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of drivers were saying, we heard from Lon Franks, we heard from Tyler Jackson, and they had a tremendous amount of right rear tire left in their cars and didn't really have a risk of a tire blowout here in this race. So, just saying, the T-Jack, I'm not sure if it's, if it's, the track itself, the dirt, or just how these new tires handle on the dirt stuff here compared to what we've seen before with the last update. Whether or not, the tire failures could be an issue or not out there on the racetrack, even with 125 laps. They had 48, almost 50% right rear tire left.
Oh, yeah. Coming into this race, that's what, Lon and I were talking about it. We're like, yeah, we're not going to be able to run the car very hard. But I was kind of in the same boat. I think I had like 34%. But like I said, it still felt like I was kind of fast, and it was pretty drivable. So so maybe the update, they've done something a little bit different with the tires to where you can run the cars a little harder. Because I know, like in a 40 lap race anymore, or even a 50 lap race, you used to save, but you don't have to save anymore. You can drive it pretty hard. So yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe getting these tires a little bit more life out there from iRacing and making this a little bit more interesting, especially here this evening. Obviously, a lot of drivers trying to anticipate, that tire fall off, trying to anticipate maybe possible blowouts and drivers spinning around and looping in themselves if they're on the racetrack like we've seen in the past here in this series. Not tonight, catching everyone a little off guard here, and a lot of drivers with a lot of tire left in their cars and a lot of opportunities to be able to run as hard as possible if they're on the racetrack late in these races to try to pick up a better position. But luckily enough for you, you were able to find some speed, find a way up inside the top 5 here. Jackie, who would you like to thank for a great run and a strong performance here this evening?
No, I'd like to thank all my teammates back at DWR, iRacing iFlags, JD Landscaping, iRacing iFlag, 304 Roots, Evil One Graphics, and there's a bunch more. Blade Node, Martin Sports. Appreciate everyone and you for putting on a good show, man.
Absolutely, brother. Jackie, a great run, a great drive, and a great finish here for you as you come home in position number 5. We look forward to seeing you back if they're on the racetrack next Monday, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth and maybe a couple spots better and up in victory lane yourself.
Yeah, next week I'm not saving. I'm going to go all out. Just see what happens.
Absolutely. You know what? It's worth a try, honestly, after seeing what happened here this evening. You might have that opportunity to just run 125 laps full throttle if they're on the racetrack.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, but that's the way we're going to – I think that's how we're going to go into it next week.
All right. I'll have to keep the camera pointed at you then.
All right, man.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your night, and congratulations again on the 5th place run.
All right. Thanks, sir.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 5th place driver, Jackie Whaley. Is Jackie coming home here in position number 5. A great run and a great drive there for that number 720 ride. Unfortunately, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it for us here in this one. As this race is going to conclude, we're going to get hopped off. I'm going to get a quick drink into me. We're going to get ready to rock and roll. And we got another big race coming up here late here this evening. And probably about 20, 25 minutes or so, we'll be live and we'll be ready to rock and roll for the first race of the Hometown Hero Series, as we're going to get the late models from Lincoln Speedway onto the channel, ready to rock and roll. We got 40 plus drivers signed up, registered, and ready to rock and roll there for that series, and it's going to be an absolute amazing show. These guys are going to be putting on some great racing here, and we are excited to see these drivers duke it out and battle all evening long here to see which one can park their ride up in victory lane there in the Hometown Hero Series coming up right after this. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for tuning in. Absolutely amazing race, absolutely amazing show. Huge shout to Tyler Jackson again, coming in with that win here this evening in the Throttle Down Motorsports Enduro Series, and a huge shout to everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares. I appreciate each and every one of you, and any of the new subscribers, followers, or anyone that came in and showed the love here throughout the evening. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I'll catch y'all back here in the next one in just a little bit, as we'll be back live here later on this evening. So make sure you have those bell notifications turned on, that way you never miss it when we go live here on PeaceMaker Gaming. Peace out for now, and I'll see you guys back here in about half an hour. Peace out, baby. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.